I finally watched Celine Dion's documentary. I believe it's called I Am Celine, something like that. And I wanted to give my review because people have been talking about this for months. It's on Amazon Prime, okay? It just came out this past year. And so all my notes are on my phone, so I'm going to be reading off of them. But it kind of just starts off with Celine Young saying that she wants to be a star, you know, all the aspirations and everything like that. And then we see a clip of her singing in the studio and everything after she got famous. And they put in a lot of her performances throughout this. So we had the River Deep Mountain High performance at this part. And then I feel like it took way too long to actually start what they were trying to do with the documentary and talking about her struggle with stiff person syndrome. Like, I feel like the documentary didn't really start until 5 minutes in. Like, I feel like everything before was a bunch of fluff, and there was definitely a lot in terms of executing it that was left on the table. And that's just how I feel. Like, it should not take 5 minutes for the documentary to finally start. So that was kind of one of my gripes, okay? And then, so this is something that I think that they go back to later in the movie, but she's really struggling. I think she's having a seizure or something like that, and she was really going through it, very vulnerable. They had to call an ambulance for her and everything. Maybe it's two different scenes, I don't know. But yeah, we kind of start off with that really when we get into it. And then she had to cancel her Vegas residency that she had in 2021. Because of her voice. And she says that 17 years ago, that's when her voice started spasming and everything. So this is something she's been dealing with for a long time. I think we actually see her get diagnosed with a stiff person syndrome in this documentary. So I wanted to add that and everything. And then she said that whenever she was going through that 17 years ago, that, you know, her voice was cracking and that it was like up here, she couldn't really bring it down and like move it how she wanted to. And she says in 2020 that she couldn't walk for a time and that she was going through a lot of pain, and said that she misses music and people and that it was difficult to cancel shows. And now we go into Power of Love, one of her older performances. And then she says that, I think she said breathing wasn't difficult, but basically what's in front of her lungs is very rigid because of the stiff person syndrome that she's dealing with, explaining it's hard to sing. Then we go into My Heart Will Go On, one of her older performances. And she said, you know, I've had a lot of amazing things in my career and everything like that. And she basically went to the studio when she was struggling and knew that they wanted, you know, Celine Dion and, you know, what she's done. But she couldn't quite give that. And she felt awful about that. At least that's what I interpreted. And she goes to visit this warehouse of things that she's accumulated throughout her entire career, like clothing and shoes and all those things. And she kind of explains the significance that it's had to her and everything. And she's like, I can say my whole life, I love it, but it can be overwhelming sometimes. And she's like, I'll wear any size shoe, like 6 through 10 I can fit in, and I wear the shoe doesn't wear me. And she has some humor throughout this, so I definitely appreciate that. And then she kind of talks about just appreciating, you know, the people that she works with, her touring crew, people that are close to her. You know, we went through all this together, so she has a moment for that. And then we get a flashback to her pregnancy with one of her children and everything. And then she shows her shoe collection. She has the child, and she said she held on to everything that she could, the toys, the souvenirs, all these things. Then we have a Jimmy Fallon clip, which I don't know why this was in here. I guess I needed something to fill the time, but yeah, we can pack it up. And then the next clip, like their cook or someone who works for them got sick, and so they filmed them like sending a message and everything, and so they appreciated that. I do think that this is unrelated, but her song Treat Her Like a Lady, it might be a cover. I don't care for the song. I don't care for a song because they put the performance in, so I just have to say that really quick. And she's talking about her parents and how they gave up their dreams to take care of their kids. Her dad worked all the time and her mom was just doing everything that she could. And basically that there would be times where there wasn't food, but their mom would just go and just make stuff from scratch and just did the best that she could. And she was talking about, I think she had like bread or and carrots and something like that, and she made something that the kids love. So her mom was just doing the best that she could, you know, when sometimes she didn't have anything, because she had a lot of siblings, I believe, when she grew up. So yeah, it was just something that was difficult to deal with and everything. And she said when she was young, she loved to sing, and she would turn if like someone played the wrong note, and her mom was like, you have to learn to keep going with that. Like, you can't just do that. You have to act like nothing happened kind of situation. And then we see her visiting her son, and she explained she had to do a French version of a movie that she already did. And then so we kind of see her working on that and everything. And then we get to the Renee section, and then there's a compilation of moments with Renee. And then there was a moment where she was singing All by Myself live, and she struggled it, you know, because of thinking about that situation, and she was kind of crying and everything in that performance, which is understandable. And then she talks about someone, I think her name is Maria Callas, and she's like some famous singer, I believe, and about, you know, how she's kind of like inspired by her. She's one of the best in the world and everything like that. And she was like, I need my voice, I need my instrument, and it wasn't working for her. And now I'm kind of talking about the sickness a little bit more. She talks about it was a hard time for her with her voice and everything, and so they upped the medicine so she could be able to sing, and the adrenaline of the crowd helped her. And there was this time, she said, where the medicine didn't work and everything, I believe, which was difficult, and she was doing 80 to 90 milligrams a day. I think it was Valium, and she said, I don't want to be dramatic, but I could have died from that situation, and that she just needed the medicine to function. And at a certain time, she felt like it was just too much, you know, but she felt like the show must go on, and she was doing everything that she could. And she was like, I have to tell the crowd why I'm canceling the shows. And this is the part that really interested me the most. But she was saying that she would lie about why she was canceling the shows and everything. She was saying that sometimes she would say it's a sinus infection, an ear infection, and she just got tired of lying. And then she also said that she cheated and tapped on the mic and acted like it was the mic's fault whenever, you know, the vocals and stuff weren't coming out how she wanted to. And she said that there was actually moments where they had to stop the show because of her voice, and she just never came back. I'm like, never came back is kind of crazy. But yeah, so like there's that. And she was like, the lie is too heavy now. And so her social media video is getting filmed at this point, where she's announcing her condition of the stiff person syndrome and saying like, I tried and I love to perform for you guys, but you know, this is taking a toll on me and everything like that. So we see her record that, and I believe she's crying afterwards. And now we see her working with her sports medicine therapist who is helping her with this condition. And she basically said in another one of the clips that she's jealous of people who can party, go out, drink and everything like that, and go to a concert and sing and have that raspiness to their voice, and people just love it. And I think she means like what she does. Like she said, I have to sleep for 12 hours a day, and like she has to drink water, and there's certain things she has to do to keep her voice in tip-top shape because of how hard the song is that she's singing. So she was kind of like envious of people who could just go party and sing. And I think there's this guy John Farnham that she really loves, and she was playing one of his covers of the Beatles' Help, and she sang one of his songs with him live, which she really enjoyed. And then somewhere in this documentary, she was like, I haven't sang for 2 years. And I'm guessing she means like studio-wise and live and everything like that, because there's clips of her singing throughout this documentary, but I guess she means like in a professional setting or something like that. And then she was trying to sing in the studio, and she kept getting frustrated because it just wasn't coming out how she wanted. And then she kept spasming afterwards. When she went back, she went into a seizure. And I think that this is like similar to the clip from earlier. I don't know if it happened twice or if it's just another part, because I thought it was kind of referenced in the beginning. It might be two different things. But yeah, she has a seizure at this point, and he gave her Valium, and it was really tough to see. It really was. Like I always say, like to see people who you have become fond of and everything like that, and to see them not be in a good place, you know, physically or mentally or whatever it is, it's tough to see. It's tough to see. And I'm honestly really shocked that she allowed this footage to be used in the documentary, okay? Because if that happened to me, cut it. Because you see her in a very vulnerable position and everything. They asked her, like, do you want us to cut off the cameras? And she was like, no, like, I don't want you to cut off the cameras. Like, I'm okay. She was crying, which I understand. Like, yeah, and they were just trying to comfort her and help her and everything like that. She said it's kind of hard to not have control of her voice, basically. She's wondering what the next steps are going to be after everything that happened in the studio. She sings a little bit, and I believe that's the end. I might have missed a few things that she said, but I feel like those are kind of the clip notes and everything. And honestly, I thought this was going to end on a better note, because I believe she did a performance for the Olympics or everything, what she sang. So I kind of thought that this was like the preparation for that moment, and then at the end, they were going to show her singing and kind of her coming back full circle and everything. But I guess the point of this documentary was to just show how debilitating that this illness has been for her, and everything that she's going through in order to sing. But I mean, that really has to suck. That really has to suck. I think she said that the stiff person syndrome affects 1 in a million people or something like that, which is crazy, So the fact that, you know, it's affecting her as a singer, you know, I know it's killing her. Like, there's times where she tries to sing and it's just not coming out, and you see how frustrated that she is. Like, she's saying earlier in the movie, like, I just want to be able to sing and not think about it, you know, and just have that enjoyment. So yeah, it was tough. It was tough to watch. It really was. I hope that she can get better from this condition and consistently go and perform shows and do whatever she wants to do with it. But it was tough. It was tough. I'm not going to lie to you guys and everything like that. You can learn a little bit more about her, I will say that. But let me know if you've seen this documentary, what you guys think down below in the comments, and we can continue that conversation.